Christopher Arthur Hughes, Canadian, YouTuber. He ran a channel, a window into his life. Adventures, opinions, observations, all served up with a side of humor. It was a channel like many others, a space to connect, to entertain, to share. But fate, it seems, had other plans for Christopher Hughes. It led him to Trinidad and Tobago, a twin island nation bathed in sunshine and steeped in history. He came for adventure, for a change of scenery, to soak up the Caribbean vibe. Little did he know, this island paradise would become the setting for a legal drama that would challenge his beliefs, test his resolve, and thrust him into the heart of a storm. Hughes, like many digital nomads, documented his travels. He shared his experiences, his impressions of this new world. His lens captured the vibrant culture, the breathtaking landscapes, the warmth of the people. But somewhere along the way, his content took a turn. He began to comment on local issues, on politics, on matters that some considered sensitive, even critical. He waded into the murky waters of social commentary, unaware of the currents that ran beneath. His words, once light-hearted and carefree, took on a new weight, a gravity that would soon pull him under. His channel, once a niche corner of the internet, began to attract attention. Views climbed, comments poured in. Some praised his audacity, his willingness to speak truth to power. Others condemned his interference, his outsider perspective. The local media caught wind of the Canadian YouTuber who dared to comment on their affairs. The story gained traction, spreading like wildfire through the digital landscape. It was a story ripe for our times, a clash of cultures, a collision of online and offline worlds. And at its center stood Christopher Hughes, the unsuspecting protagonist in a drama that was only just beginning. The Caribbean sun beat down on Port of Spain, Trinidad's bustling capital, as Christopher Hughes found himself caught in a situation that felt ripped from the pages of a thriller. His phone buzzed incessantly with notifications, a digital storm brewing around him. What began as whispers of discontent had escalated into a chorus of accusations, his once innocuous comments now branded as dangerous, inflammatory, even treasonous. He had stumbled into a minefield of legal and cultural sensitivities, the once welcoming embrace of the island nation suddenly feeling suffocating. The authorities took notice. The line between online commentary and real-world consequences blurred, the digital and physical realms colliding with a resounding crash. Hughes was summoned for questioning, his movements tracked, his online activity scrutinized. The weight of the situation pressed down on him, the carefree spirit of his travels replaced by a knot of anxiety. He had become entangled in a web of laws he didn't fully comprehend, his digital footprint, now a trail of breadcrumbs leading to a confrontation he could no longer avoid. The charges came swiftly, a hammer blow to his newfound reality. Sedition. The very word seemed archaic, a relic of a bygone era, yet here it was, shackling him to a legal battle he never anticipated. The prosecution alleged that his online content, his words, his opinions, threatened the very fabric of Trinidadian society. They painted him as an agitator, a foreign agent seeking to sow discord, his YouTube channel a weapon wielded against the nation's stability. The carefree traveler was now a political prisoner, his digital voice silenced by the ironclad grip of the law. The news of Hughes's arrest reverberated across the internet, a shockwave that rippled through the online communities he frequented. Supporters rallied to his defense, decrying the charges as an assault on free speech, a blatant attempt to stifle dissent. Critics, however, lauded the government's actions, arguing that Hughes had crossed a line, that his words had consequences, and that no one, foreign or otherwise, was above the law. The case quickly became a lightning rod for debate, a flashpoint in the ongoing struggle between individual liberties and national security. A stark reminder that the rules of engagement in the digital age remained frustratingly undefined. The Sedition Act. It sounds like something out of a Dickens novel, a dusty law book from a time of empires and uprisings, a time when words could topple kings and whispers could spark revolutions. But in the digital age, in the era of tweets and TikToks, the Sedition Act has found new life, a tool wielded by governments to silence dissent and control the narrative. Christopher Hughes's case brought this antiquated law into the harsh glare of the digital spotlight, exposing its chilling effect on free speech in the 21st century. Trinidad and Tobago, like many former British colonies, inherited the Sedition Act from its colonial past. It's a legacy that continues to cast a long shadow, a reminder of an era when dissent was met with swift and brutal repression. The law, often vague and open to interpretation, criminalizes speech that incites hatred or disaffection against the government. But what constitutes hatred or disaffection can be subjective, leaving the door open for abuse and selective enforcement. Hughes's case is just one example of how the Sedition Act is being used in the digital age to stifle dissenting voices. From India to Thailand, governments are increasingly using this colonial-era law to silence journalists, activists, and even ordinary citizens who dare to criticize those in power. The internet, once hailed as a tool for democratization and free expression, has become a battleground for control and censorship. The digital public square, where ideas should flow freely, is being increasingly policed, with the Sedition Act serving as a convenient weapon to silence those deemed troublesome. The use of sedition laws in the digital age raises profound questions about the balance between freedom of expression and national security. In an era where information travels at the speed of light and opinions are shared instantly, where do we draw the line between legitimate dissent and dangerous speech? How do we protect the right to criticize our leaders without sacrificing the stability of our societies? These are complex questions with no easy answers, questions that Christopher Hughes's case has brought into sharp focus, forcing us to confront the uncomfortable realities of our digital age.